They could go further down.
Yeah, they intend to, but they couldn't catch it this trip. But
It's
they,
better than it was.
pardon?
It's better than it was.
Much, yeah.
We're just
Yeah,
gonna
you
have to
could-
repeat this in 30 days.
You could almost put a lawnmower to it there for a while.
I know. I was down there. When I launched my boat, I needed the 4-wheel drive to get the empty trailer up the ramp.
Really?
Yeah, I was spinning my wheels.
Yeah, it was bad. Well, hey, it's a long winter. It's a long winter.
It ain't over yet.
No,
May is not a good boating season.
no, it can have its off-season moments.
Yeah, I just think this weekend will be the best time.
We got some bad weather coming, haven't we?
No, we got good weather for the weekend.
Oh, good, great.
Maybe even hit 70 someplace.
Okay, gentlemen, I think it's about 6:30. I see that Gene and Josh and Tony are all on, so I'll open the Board of Selectmen's meeting on Wednesday, May 3rd, 6:30 PM, open.
Hey, you're not the chairman yet.
Oh, that's right, I'm sorry, right. Go ahead. Go ahead,
This an attempted coup?
I'm just practicing, Gene.
Go ahead, finish it up, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Gene. Bye.
No, I'm good, please.
Okay, well, I guess the announcements, first of all, any opening comments? Josh?
Well, congratulations, Gene, on your reelection. Good to have the band back together, even though we never broke up. So yeah, congratulations. That's
Thank
my only
you.
comment. And thank you. And thank you for serving another term. I know it's it's a commitment. So thanks.
Thank you.
Jane, any comments?
No, I just, I think the business as usual. I don't think anything changes with the shifting of titles. I think, as I told people, I think it's been a good run for the last couple of years, not just last year, and I expect that to continue. And I appreciate the fact that nobody ran against me, which kind of, I think, bodes well on all of us for doing as good a job as I think we've done. So that's all I have.
Good, thank you, Jane. And again, thanks for stepping up for another 3 years. I know how difficult that can be sometimes, so I appreciate the job that you've done and the job that you'll continue to do.
Thanks, Ron.
Okay, with that, I'll do the announcements. 2023 resident parking stickers now available for purchase at nahant.org. Parking stickers are $10. All outstanding bills must be paid to the town and a census must be completed. The compost area open on Wednesdays, Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. 2023 parking stickers required. Visit Public Works page at nahant.org for a full list of acceptable materials. Curbside leaf pickup on Mondays until May 22nd. Leaves must be in biodegradable bags only and at your curbside by 7 a.m. Visit the Public Works page at nahant.org for more information. Recycling for metal, white goods, TV, and computers. Last Saturday of each month until October 28th, 8 a.m. 12 p.m. behind the DPW garage on Flash Road. 2023 resident sticker required. Visit Public Works Department, Nahant.org, for acceptable materials and fees. Employment opportunities, part-time internship at Town Hall and DPW seasonal crew members. Visit the employment page at Nahant.org for job descriptions and requirements. The annual town meeting is set for Saturday, May 20th, 2023, starting at 12:30 at Town Hall. Last day to register to vote for town meeting is Wednesday, May 2nd, 2023. The Red Cross blood drive is Friday, May 12th, 2023, from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. at Nahant Town Hall. Registration and appointments are required. Visit the public health page or community calendar at nahant.org for registration, instructions, and QR code. Available scholarships, the Bob and Janet Munley, Nahant Women's Club, American Legion, the Jennifer J. Harris scholarships, and the Lieutenant Tommy Hutton Christmas Parade scholarships. Visit the scholarship page at nahant.org for applications and contact information. Okay, we need new business to make this official, Gene.
Yeah, you a little drum roll.
Go ahead.
I move that the Board of Selectmen vote to appoint Mark Cullinane as the chairman of the Board of Selectmen.
Do we have a second?
Josh, you with us?
Saw Josh say it, but Josh, you're on mute.
Okay, I'll second it.
I'm sorry, seconded,
Yeah, you can second it, Mark.
seconded. Did you get that?
Yes, I got it.
All right.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, roll call vote.
Josh Antrim, aye.
Gene Canty, aye.
I move that the Board of Selectmen vote to appoint Gene Canty as vice chairman of the Board of Selectmen.
Seconded.
Motion's been made and seconded.
I don't mean to be a stick in the mud here, but wouldn't I become the vice chair?
Yeah, I was, yeah, actually. Yeah, I think, yeah, you're right. Let me correct that.
Well, Mark, what, you were just the recording secretary, right?
No, I was.
Kristen went through this. Was you were Josh?
Yep.
No, I was the recording secretary, Josh.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, I think it rotates the other way around. So it's, you kind of, you move down the list and then you're the chairman, going into your final year.
Oh, yeah. So certainly Mark is the chairman this year
Yeah, and I had,
and was the vice chairman last year.
I was the recording secretary last year.
no, yeah, you were the vice chairman, Josh. If
Really?
you look at the top of the, if you look at the top of the meeting notice,
I didn't realize I was one heartbeat away from chairman. All right. Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
Josh, we could work something out if you want.
No, I'm
Motion's been
okay.
made,
I was thinking to rotate it the other direction.
motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Josh Antrim, aye.
Mark
Gene
Cullen,
Canty,
aye.
aye.
Mark Cullen, aye. Gene, you want to make this motion for Josh?
I move that the Board of Selectmen vote to appoint Josh Antrim as the recording secretary of the Board of Selectmen.
Seconded? Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Gene
Josh
Canty,
Antrim,
aye.
aye.
And Mark Cullen and I. Okay. Okay, we have some appointments to make to the call fire for the fire department. Someone care to make that motion?
Sure. I move that the Board of Selectmen vote to approve the appointments of Fernando Baez, Trent Gallagher, and David Ferreira as call firemen with the Nahant Fire Department.
Second,
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? I read the little bios, Tony, they look well qualified. I see that Trent and David are well, David is a Lynn resident, but Trent is a Nahant resident, and Fernando is a full-time firefighter in Salem. So they look all very qualified. So congratulations for the chief for finding these.
Chief Ansham's on the call as well.
Okay. Chief, you want to say anything about these guys?
No, you summed it up nicely, Mark, and thank you all. Yeah, Fernando is a little outside our normal response area. He lives in Salem, but he's already trained. He's a full-time firefighter there, and he's looking to get some more experience and training here. So we're happy to have him help. And Trent is a Nahant resident. He got out of the Navy recently, so he's excited to join the department. And then David, who's a Lynn resident, has a lot of family in the fire service in Saugus and Massport. So yeah, they're all very excited to get going, and we're happy to have them. So thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Any further discussion on the motion?
Want to compliment the chief on, his work on, refilling the roster of call firemen. He's been on, a few times over the last few months here, and has been doing a great job, recruiting and getting some, new bodies on the crew. So good work, chief.
Okay, any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Josh Antrim, aye.
Gene Canty, aye.
Mark Cullen and I. We have some meeting minutes to approve. Someone want to make the motion?
I move that the Board of Selectmen, oh, go ahead, Gene.
I move that the Board of Selectmen vote to approve the meeting minutes from January 4th, 2023 and January the 18th, 2023.
Seconded.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing and hearing none, all in favor?
Josh Antrim, aye.
Gene Canty, aye.
Mark Cullen and I. Josh, you want to take this, the approval of the event request?
Yes, I move that the Board of Selectmen vote to approve the following event requests. The Apollo Club of Boston concert on Sunday, June 4th, 2023 at the main hall of the Nahant Town Hall, starting at 3 p.m. The Nahant Recreation Summer Park Program, starting at July 5th, 2023, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Flash Road Playground. And the Nahant Village Church Peach Village Summer Camp from August 14th to August 18th, from 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. at the Flash Road Playground. And one more, the classical concert violin and piano sponsored by the Nahant Cultural Council on September 9th, 2023, starting at 7 p.m. at the Ellingwood Chapel.
Seconded.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussions on the motion. These seem to be reoccurring. Tony, I noticed that the Nahant Village Church seems to be a new event request. I hope they're very successful in their camp, their summer camp. So we didn't have this last year, did we?
No, this is new. We double checked that it didn't overlap with the summer park program. So, which is good. So it should, we hope wish them some success. But yeah, we did, double check that there wasn't an overlap.
I'm sure the Edwards sisters are involved in this somehow, some way.
Most likely.
Coordination had been completed before we asked the question.
Yeah, I hope they have success. Any further discussion on the motion?
No.
Seeing, hearing none, all in favor?
Josh Antrim, aye.
Gene Canty, aye.
Mark Cullen and I. Gene, you want to take this next one? Operating
Vote.
hours, Ocean
I
View.
move that the Board of Selectmen vote to approve the request from the Atlantic Function Corporation, DBA Ocean View, 0 Willow Road, Nahant, Mass, to change the operating hours on Sundays from 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. to the new hours of 10 a.m. to 1 a.m. and to approve the town administrator to sign the licensing authority certification.
Seconded.
Motion's been made, seconded, discussion. Tony, can you give us some background on this?
Yeah, I would even though the ABCC doesn't require us to host a full hearing for just the hours change on an existing liquor license, I don't think it would hurt if you wanted to, open this up for some comment from anyone that's on the call. There's some Sunday breakfast brunch type activity that occurs. So they wanted to, adjust their liquor license to earlier to 10 a.m. from noon to earlier 10 a.m. Looks like they're also asking for an extra hour, from midnight to 1 a.m. So, I don't know, Dan, unless you, as council suggests otherwise, would it hurt to kind of open this up to, anyone that's on the call that might have some comments?
No, not at all. That's a great idea.
Okay, if there's anybody on the call that want to speak on this subject, Tony, if you could unmute them. Identify yourself and your address, please. I guess nobody.
Nobody.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded. Any further?
Yeah. Yes. So I talked to Tony about this earlier today. I don't have any problem with the earlier opening on Sunday. What I don't know about is the making the closing from midnight to 1 a.m., whether that's been, well, I don't know what their permit is for the rest of the week. And if, I guess I'm sort of starting with my words here, but I think we should seek neighborhood input on whether the hours should be extended from midnight to 1 a.m. to see if there's objections from abutters or nearby neighbors. If that is later than the other nights of the week, I don't know what their current hours are for Monday through Saturday night, for example. I'd feel better if they were already at 1 a.m., but it's a work night and there's music and whatnot. So I'd like to understand what the neighbors think.
Okay.
Alice was having trouble unmuting when we went to the public. Can you mind if I unmute her?
Go ahead.
Yes, hi, thank you. Alice Court, 7 Valley Road. I thank Josh for making those points because that's what I was trying to say. I know some of the neighbors and I think that those are very relevant issues, that it's a work night, and to extend it to 1 a.m. I think is really has the potential for being quite problematic. And so I don't know if the neighbors have been notified about this request of increasing the hours, but I certainly think they should have the opportunity to be informed of it and given an opportunity to respond. I don't live right down that street, but I think people on the street would want to weigh in a little bit.
I think Alice and Josh raised a good point there. And my question on it is, and I don't know this, are operating hours any different than entertainment hours?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I assume they're the same.
Tony, when's our next meeting? What date is our next meeting?
In 2 weeks.
What's the date?
I think the 17th.
Perhaps we could,
17th.
perhaps we could approve this motion until from now to the 17th, because I'm not sure if he has already scheduled something or not. And we can revisit it, notify the abutters on our next meeting. Would that be okay with you, Josh and Gene?
That's a good point.
I mean, honestly, I'd rather just defer the vote until the 17th. Because unless, you know, I mean, I don't want to upset plan if he has something in the next 2 weeks. That'd be different.
Knowing Mike, he wouldn't plan that way. You know what I mean? I doubt he
Yeah.
has something contingent upon this vote. I know, you know, when it came to us, he was more concerned about, you know, the earlier hour extension.
Yeah.
To the brunch activity.
Yeah.
So, you know, we could either postpone the whole vote or, you know, or amend it to just extend from noon to 10 a.m. and then I can go back to him and ask him, you know, if, you know, the extra hour on the other end is very important to him. And if it is, you know, that we seek a butter input.
Yeah, why don't we just postpone it at this point and notify him as such, and perhaps we can notify the people in the immediate neighborhood to tune in on the 17th if they have any concerns. Also, could you check in with the police chief and see if there has been any issues in the past, what his concerns may be?
Okay.
I guess
That's good.
the third item would be what his operating hours are Monday through Saturday,
Yes.
just for context.
Okay,
So Dan, is it, whoever made the motion should just withdraw?
Withdraw or a vote to deny, one of the two. It doesn't really matter. The end result is the same.
Why don't we, let's see. I guess I made the motion, right? No, I
I
didn't.
would just vote to withdraw for now. And
All right.
That's fine.
I made the motion and I would suggest the same, but we withdraw.
Okay.
Well, second, do I have a second on that, please? Josh?
Seconded.
Motions were made and seconded to withdraw this item into our next meeting. Any further discussion on the motion?
None.
Seeing, hearing none, all in favor?
Josh Antrim, aye.
Gene Canty, aye.
Michael and I. Okay, we have a proclamation to read here. This is on Children's Mental Health Week proclamation. And this is something I think we do pretty much every year, so
Yeah.
I think it's important. So why don't I read it? Whereas according to the United States Department of Health and Human Services, 1 in 5 children is diagnosed with a mental health condition, and whereas good mental health is a key component in a child's healthy development, and Children's Mental Health Week shines a light on this important matter, and whereas research has shown that early identification and treatment of mental health conditions among children and youth and the involvement of family members in their care and treatment provide children and youth better opportunities. Excuse me. I just lost that. Hold on one second. Someone was chiming in on me. Sorry about that. Whereas early identification and treatment includes timely services and supports for children and youth from a fully integrated team of diverse resources, including their families, physicians, schools, and local communities. And whereas appropriate treatment is family-driven, youth-guided, culturally appropriate, and equitable across varying communities and populations. And whereas appropriately treating the mental health needs of children, youth, and families today is fundamental to the future of our nation and to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Therefore, the Board of Selectmen of the Town of Nahant, Massachusetts, do hereby proclaim May 7th through May 13th, 2023 as Children's Mental Health Week, and urge our citizens businesses, and organizations to promote this year's theme. Accept, advocate, and the theme is accept, advocate, act, because awareness is not enough. In order to help increase equitable access to appropriate treatment and support for children, youth, and their families with mental health needs. Okay.
That's a mouthful.
Okay.
Be nice to, well, it's this week, right? So just thinking ahead, maybe it'd be nice to plan some activities or functions or programs, something more than reading the proclamation. Something to think about. I guess we have a year to think about it, but you know, to sort of add a little to the proclamation. Just a thought.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Josh. I know that I was reading the other day that the Commonwealth has put up a new helpline that people are able to call. It's free of charge, who are trying to access, mental health services. And perhaps we could advertise what that helpline is in case people feel they need to have some help, and they can reach out to that number. Tony,
Yeah.
maybe we could put that on our website or something along those lines.
Maybe it's something that the Johnson School would like to participate in some capacity.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Josh. Maybe we could collaborate with the school committee next year and perhaps invite some people to come in to talk to students. And it might work.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Okay, ongoing business.
A couple of things, if I could. 9 Little Nahant Road. Where are we with that, Tony? Is there anything we need to discuss?
I'll defer to Dan. We had an executive session meeting last week to, talk about the current offer that's on the table and, the current private offer for purchase of the property. And with that, we discussed, the agreement that the town will have with HUD on what portion of that sale will come to the town. As we've talked about in the past, there's, some deferred taxes owed to the town, and with that is a lot of interest included in it. And so we're trying to recoup those funds as part of the sale of the property. But I don't have an update as to how the sale process went between HUD and the new and the party that's offering to purchase it. Dan, do you have anything further to add to that?
I do. Just today, I was in touch with HUD, and there's some delay on their end, have nothing to do with us. They need some sort of confirmatory deed with regard to 9 Nahant Road, which has, again, nothing to do with us. We're good to go. And I should note that our agreement with HUD also resolved a potential litigation against HUD, which is great for all parties. So we're waiting for them to get that confirmatory deed and then close. It hasn't closed yet, but everything looks fine. A confirmatory deed is nothing unusual. We did it on the Coast Guard housing just to make sure everything is clean. So it's not at all unusual. So we're still good to go. No problems at all.
So I would just say that the town and HUD seem to be on the same page, and we're certainly not pumping the brakes at all or trying to impede on the process of the sale. It seems like we're in lockstep with HUD, and You know, so as long as they're able to come to an agreement on the sale, then we'll be able to move to the next step and make an announcement on, you know, how much of that sale will be coming back to the town of Nahant.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Dan. Good job on that. Any
Yeah.
further? Any-
Yeah, just a couple.
Go ahead.
The town wharf, Tony, I was just at the beginning telling everybody what a great job the DPW did on the ramp. Needs to go a little deeper, but I think we have to wait for a very, very low tide for that. But everybody's real happy with it, so you can pass that along.
Will do. We came up with a schedule. You know, the challenging part is that we are looking for the lowest of tides that occur during the workday. So Monday through Friday, you know, 7 to 3. That's when we, you know, and that's when we're, and ideally, you know, that low tide is hitting somewhere around like 10 a.m. So we are, you know, we're chasing it down, and then we're getting the bottom, you know, hitting the bottom of the ramp, cleaning it up. So, but we put together a schedule, and it'll be posted at the harbor master's office, so folks are aware of when that's going to occur. Basically, it's once a month.
Yeah, but even in its current condition, they did a really nice job.
It's good.
One other, go ahead, Josh.
I was just gonna say, it's good to remember that, you know, this is not something that has always happened, right? The pressure washing of the ramp at the wharf. So, you know, we're lucky that it's happening at all. You know, I've been using the ramp my whole life, and like, you know, a few years ago, this wasn't happening at all. So, while it's not always perfect, it's always way better than it used to be. So I just thought I'd mention that.
Especially the old wooden ramp, where we used to get splinters.
That I don't remember. I don't know when that was.
I do remember making visits to Dr. DeClerico's office to pull splinters out.
Yeah, he was very sympathetic, Dr. DeClerico, I'm sure.
Not really.
I think Tony developing the schedules will help a lot.
Yeah, definitely. I know when it starts to get slippery, people wonder, you know, when's it going to happen, and that, you know, being able to refer to the schedule helps. So, yeah, great job, DPW, as always.
Thank you.
Tony, one other thing, the electronic speed signs. Are we getting an update on those?
You mean the one on the Nahant Road up by Little Nahant?
Yes.
Yep, we have a new one. It's in stock. It's on the list of to be reinstalled. We're probably likely going to move it a little bit closer to Little Nahant Road, because it, you know, once the bus stop was remodeled there, the signage kind of was getting in the way anyways. Unfortunately, those, you know, the brackets that come with those signs they're not ideal. They're not strong enough. I mean, it's essentially, we had some really high winds and it ripped it off of the pole and it smashed on the ground. So we bought a new one, and we hope to have it installed soon.
Great, excellent. The last thing I have was the barrels. Are we looking at the giving out barrels or having barrels available? Trash barrels.
You mean in the parks or for curbside collection?
For curbside.
So after, you know, I think after town meeting, I want to have some, you know, published notice of that topic. It can be done during a Board of Selectmen meeting. You know, we're trying to think of ways to reduce costs. As you know, as you probably recall, the last meeting we talked a lot about composting. I have a meeting with the members from swim tomorrow. So I think after town meeting, we'll have, at least one, maybe two segments during your Board of Selectmen meeting where we'll be talking about curbside collection.
Great, excellent.
Tony, what time is that meeting tomorrow? I was gonna ask you about that. I'll try to make it.
Uh, 1 o'clock. It's by Zoom, so
Okay.
I'll resend it to you.
Okay, thank you. Anything else, Josh?
Nope.
Okay. Okay. Let's see, where are we here? I'm flipping back and forth here. All right, Pacific East Point, any update on that, Josh? I know I have a deposition on June 15th, so.
Yeah. Yep, and mine's on June 29th. I had put a call into the attorneys just like an hour before the meeting, and a few minutes ago while we were already meeting, Jim Masterman called back, but obviously I couldn't take the call. So so the discovery phase has been extended, and the depositions that were originally going to be over by now were pushed out. Some have occurred already, but Mark's and mine are now in June, mine at the end of June. So the schedule continues to stretch, but no change to the basic outline.
Okay, great. Thanks, Josh. Town administrators report.
Yes, thank you. I got a report from Zach today. I asked him to give me a little bit of a spring report on, the things that the DPW has accomplished over the last couple of weeks and things that they plan to accomplish over the, the coming weeks. Because I know as the weather warms up and folks are, walking around town, we tend to see a lot of requests come in this time of year. And they're doing, the DPW is really working hard, getting a lot done. So Zach sent me a nice comprehensive list. If you don't mind, I would like to read from it.
Go ahead.
So this is what they've accomplished over the last I would say month or a few weeks to a month. They removed weed control fabric at the invasive vegetation spot at East Point, and the area has been seeded, and erosion control blanket has been installed. They completed the Fort Ruckman slope restoration project, including existing trail maintenance and creation of new walking trails. That was a CPC project. They've completed the 9th hole side restoration of Bear Pond. They've begun the process of restoring walking trails and opening up the ocean side of Bailey's Hill. That's also a CPC project. I actually walked through there today. It looks really, really good. I need to come up with some ideas of how to promote it because people really should, take a walk, through Bailey's Hill and take a look at the work that's been done in there. It looks amazing. It's like a hidden gem back there. They're nearing the completion of the restoration of the former Tri-Mountain wastewater pump station building. So the building at the bottom of Tri-Mountain Road has been re-roofed, repainted. It has a new door being installed soon. The old vegetation's been removed. New vegetation will be installed. New paint on the exterior and interior of the Flash Road bathroom facility. Installed drainage and a walking path along the new Flash Road basketball and tennis courts. We were, thanks to Senator Crichton and Representative Capano, we received an earmark and were able to purchase a new side-by-side sidewalk plowing 4x4 piece of equipment, a little John Deere ATV, which we'll be using, for other purposes as well. But a new piece of equipment has been installed into the fleet. Restored lower Little League fields with new edges and new clay playing surfaces. Those fields look better than they've had in a long time. Opened up short beach access points, installed new dune grass, rebuilding dune and access points, new signposts installed at each access point, Tudor Beach ramp, and installed access stairways, clean and prepped all the town planting beds, completed mulch install and full spring cleanups at Town Hall and the library, moved beach rock and sand from Tudor Beach, Short Beach, Tri Mountain Road Beach, and Marjoram Park. And all those areas have been topsoiled and reseeded. Repainted the trash barrels, for the parks. Opened and cleaned the public bathrooms and a number of other activities, including townwide grass cutting, leaf bag collection, barrel collection, catch basin repairs, etc. And in the coming weeks, we are hope to see the new thermoplastic road lines for the areas that were repaved last fall. So from the bank to Pond Street, as well as the stretch of the main road that wasn't paved. New signage, including the speed sign on Nahant Road. Gene, you were ahead of me on that one. Plus,
That doesn't happen often.
yeah, replacing old signs, adding new signs. A lot of the street traffic signs that were identified by the sign study. And townwide mulching of planting beds. And then, of course, it's the push to prepare for Memorial Day, at the end of the month. So, I want to give a shout out to the entire DPW crew. They do a tremendous job and they've been working really hard. And for all the residents, we've been getting, we get your requests. We're, trying to schedule things as best we can and get to everything as fast as we can.
Thank you, Tony. Yes, and pass along our thanks to Zach. I've stopped him a few times and told him what a great job him and his crew have been doing. It's very noticeable as you go around town. So they clearly are.
Sorry, Mike.
No, go ahead, Jim.
Tony, one thing I've been asked about twice now is the road leading into the wharf. From right near the pump house there's some serious holes. Is there any way to temporarily, until we do something more stable, some temporary repairs we can make to that?
Yeah, well, I'll have Zach take a look at it. And,
Yeah, if you would, you'll see right away what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I've noticed the same thing, Gene, especially right around at the end of Joel Marie's driveway.
Yeah,
pretty bad. But
Yeah.
looks like it could be helped with a temporary patching. Tony, would you be able to repeat what you said about the line painting on the Hot Road?
New thermoplastic road lines from the bank to Pond Street on the newly paved pavement, as well as the stretch of the main road that was not paved.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, 'cause I was noticing that the non-newly paved part was in need of that. So
It's
that's good to
basically
hear.
in between, Little Nahant and Spring Road.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, that was looking a little
And crosswalks
non-existent.
and crosswalks and all those will be painted as well, reinstalled.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, so DPW has been working really hard, and I also, while I'm here commending the DPW, I also want to commend the fire department and the police department. They too, it may not seem like it, but they are also in a gearing up for summer mode. You know, doing all sorts of trainings and coordination and planning, because as you all know, with ocean rescue, training on the fire side, and just the, you know, the sheer increase of, you know, activity that occurs on the causeway and in town during the summer, and with new employees coming on board, you know, they too are in this kind of prep for summer mode as well. You know, so shout out to the police and fire department as well.
Speaking of prep for Memorial Day, one more shout out to Wharfinger and Harbor Master Rob Thibault. You know, he does a great job like coordinating, getting all the boats out of there on time, and making sure everyone has a plan, and, you know, asking people like me, do you have a date? Do you have a hauler? All that stuff. So, yeah, thanks to Rob for.
That's a great
You know,
point, Jerry. He does a great job. They do.
Yeah, and I thought you were going to go with Memorial Day committee too, because, you know, they've been meeting constantly and getting ready for our, you know, parade on Memorial Day and the ceremonies, and there's a lot of work involved in that. So I assume our next meeting on the 17th we'll have a lot of announcements and discussion on that.
That's great.
I also just wanted to quickly touch on, you know, the town meeting is coming up on the 20th. You know, so I typically will host some community meetings, information sessions for our residents who might want to, you know, listen or ask questions and get prepared ahead of time before town meeting. So those, I'm going to be hosting those on the next 2 Mondays, which is the 8th and the 15th. They're on the community calendar. They're both at 6 o'clock. Both you'll be able to tune in via Zoom, and they'll be broadcasted. The 15th I might do as a hybrid if anyone wants to, you know, come into the town hall. And I'm also going to add on Fridays, the next 2 Fridays, the 12th and the 19th, I'm going to add some from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. So from 10 a.m. to noon, 2 hours of kind of open office hours in the town hall with me, so that for anyone that, you know, might feel uncomfortable asking certain questions, you know, in a public setting, I'm going to hold some open office hours at that time for anyone that might want to come in and have some questions about articles that are on the warrant and want to be prepared for town meeting. So all that will be on the community calendar as well. Your advisory and finance committee book should be arriving very shortly. We got some delivered to the town hall this week. They're on nahant.org. If you go to nahant.org, right on the main page, there's a picture and it says annual town meeting, more information, click here, and all relevant information for town meeting is available at a click of a button there. So
Great. Thank you, Tony.
thank you.
So let's see, citizens forum. You can open it up and raise your hand. Tony will unmute you, identify yourself and your address, and go ahead.
Hi, Tony, you just unmuted me, right?
Yep.
Okay. Francine Amari Faulkner, 295 Nahant Road. I have a couple questions, but then at the very end, I have 2 others. What is the outcome of the USDA cameras, and what information have you gotten so far?
I don't know personally.
Yeah. You know, the USDA has seen some activity, I think, on their cameras. I I don't think much of it is consistent. The last I spoke with them, they were gonna be adjusting some of the cameras, but, understood that, we probably likely wouldn't, unless Mass Wildlife authorized them to come into town for, to run a program, essentially they're on hold.
They're on hold. Is that what you said, Tony?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm not positive if they still have some cameras out here or not. But so I'd have to double check.
do you know how much has been spent so far on that effort, that part of the effort?
Not off the top of my head, but it's probably, I would guess, in the range of around 5,000.
Okay,
That's total cumulative, right?
Right.
Yeah,
What we
from,
spent.
a year ago.
Yeah. Yep.
okay. And any feeding or trash issues that people are witnessing, what do they do with that?
Well, we have an existing bylaw about properly maintaining your waste. So, making sure that it's in a closed container, and also rules about dumpsters and things of that nature. So if there's any, if you're seeing any of that, report it to the town hall, and we will look into it.
Report it to who? If you say town hall, but who do people contact for that?
So you can call the town administrator's office.
Okay, so if you're seeing food source somewhere, you want people to call your office.
If it has to do with, yeah, call our office either way. What I'm saying is we, depending on what it is, we currently, until town meet, as you know, we have an article up at town meeting that has to do with feeding of wildlife. If that doesn't, that needs to pass before we have really any type of law on paper for us to enforce. But we do have an existing bylaw related to trash. So, depending on what it is, it will depend on how we respond. But certainly, just report it to the town administrator's office and we're working.
Okay, lastly, I've noticed, I'm sure a lot of people do, at the golf course, as I understand it, the golf course is owned by the town, but is privately leased. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I've noticed there is so much trash all around the perimeter of the golf course. Is there any way for the town to hold that tenant responsible to clean up there's beer cans, there's broken glass, there's just trash around the entire perimeter of the golf course?
We just had the Essex County Sheriff's Office and community service folks down there cleaning up the edges, trying to pick trash out of those bushes. Some of that trash dates back a long time, but they've been trying to get clean up all of that stuff that I think you're referring to. It was just, last week, I think they were down there. So if you are citing something you saw before last week, it may have already been cleaned up.
There's a lot. There's piles of beer cans and bottles and broken glass. And there's a bazillion golf balls. Like, somebody at some point should go pick up the golf balls that are all over the place down there into the Phragmites. It's a mess.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Francie, because actually earlier I was going to mention that Swim had a beach cleanup plan for last weekend, but it got canceled due to the weather. And I wanted to put in my 2 cents in this citizens forum to encourage people when they take a walk to bring a bag with them and grab grab trash when they see it. I know there's a lot of people that walk dogs, and it's a great opportunity to just pick up a few things. So I'd encourage you to do the same.
I do that, Josh, just so you know. I do often pick stuff up. But
So,
the golf
Francine-
course is beyond, I mean, it's a mess.
Francine, if you have any specific spots or pictures, send them to me.
All
and
right,
I'll Press it with the lessee.
I'll do that. I'll take some photos.
I'll take a walk around tomorrow as well, see what I see. I'll bring a bag.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Brendan has his hand up.
Brendan, if you can unmute.
Brendan Baronic Olmsted, 2 Summer Street. Had a follow-up question about the aerial drone surveys that were done. Did you have any information when like a public meeting on presenting the drone survey results was going to be happening?
So Brendan, I've been going back and forth with the company, and we've just been missing each other as far as how our schedules have worked out. I'm hoping to have that soon. It's been completed. I just simply haven't gotten it myself yet. So it's just been a little bit of a scheduling nightmare, but it's done. So sometime soon we'll be presenting it for sure.
Okay. And would it be like, would you give us like a couple of weeks notice?
It'll probably be here on a Board of Selectmen meeting.
Okay. Good to
So
know.
it'll be on the agenda.
All right. Thank you very much.
Alice, I saw you unmuted yourself earlier.
Yes, hi. I just had a quick follow-up question for Tony. If people can't make one of or both of the Monday night informational meetings to discuss the warrant, will they be taped and available on YouTube, or is there another way to see them?
Yes, we'll record them and we will post them to our YouTube channel. And typically we'll probably run them, on repeat a couple times too. But I'll make sure that they're recorded, and we could probably share the link once it's posted. But it's a good point. Thank you.
Great,
Alex.
thanks very much.
And Tony, I wanted to thank you, Tony, for thinking of that and arranging those meetings. It's a good people that aren't necessarily paying close attention year round, go to town meeting, and it can be confusing, and maybe they're looking at the articles for the first time, and or need some background, and it helps town meeting goes more smoothly, I think, if they have a chance to ask these questions or look into these issues ahead of time. So I just wanted to thank you for taking the initiative to schedule those and host them.
Yep, no problem. I enjoy doing it. Selfishly, it helps me as well, because I get to, maybe I'll get a question that I didn't think about, and I'll be better prepared for that question at town meeting. Ultimately, town meeting it's the residents' meeting, so my job is to inform and recommend, but ultimately it's up to you, the residents. So the more we can do that, the better.
Great, thanks, Tony. I see Michelle is on our call here, and I was wondering if she could give us a quick update of the housing production plan. I know we have a few meetings coming up. Michelle, could you give us a quick update on that?
Hi, thanks, Mark. In terms of the housing production plan, we met recently a few weeks ago and started having the discussion on potential locations. We're going through an analysis right now with MAPC on feasibility. We will be meeting this week and next week to talk more about those sites and the results of the feasibility analysis that MAPC has done. In addition, we're going to be doing an inventory of what activities the town has done regarding housing needs for the community. So taking a look at CPC, Housing Authority, Council on the Aging, other committees and boards in terms of trying to improve certain housing needs. So for example, if for the Housing Authority, we've used CPC funding to improve some of the properties. So that is another means of, looking at alternatives in terms of sourcing funds to help kickstart any of these activities that we're looking to undertake. We are considering right now, and this is late breaking and new, and will be talked about at the committee meeting tomorrow, but we're looking to do a virtual open house in a few weeks. The date is TBD, but the intent is to provide a means for residents to join a Zoom call, ask questions. We're going to post some of the findings regarding feasibility on sites, and then following that virtual open house, we're going to do an in-person session in June, so more members of the community can come forward with questions, provide us feedback. Again, this is all going to help contribute to the housing production plan. And so, excited about some of these things that we're going to be working on, and looking forward to talking with the committee tomorrow night. We haven't met for a few weeks, but it'll be good.
Thank you, Michelle. Thanks for all the good work you're doing with that. Okay, anything else? Citizen forum. Anybody else out there?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, hi, it's Debbie Vanderslice, 368 Nahant Road. Tony, thank you for that comprehensive list of what DPW has done. I see them out there every day, multiple times, and I know they're just so dedicated to making our town look beautiful. But I just have two little suggestions that they might put on the bottom of their very lengthy list. Whenever I drive down, I guess it's Spring Road, where I believe the town calls it family housing, chapter 200 housing, those duplex houses, they really look like they could use a power wash. They're really kind of dirty. And the other thing is, when I go by Spindrift, the sign looks like it needs some work. It's just in really bad shape. And I just think, because our town looks so pretty in general, that it would be great to just address those two little things.
Thanks, Deb.
Thank you, Deb. So both of those are actually housing authority controlled properties. So what I'll do is I'll share that with the executive director. What is the sign, and what sign are you referring to at Spindrift?
The one over I believe it's the main entrance. It's like a wooden sign with engraving in it. It's just all like it needs to be repainted or something. It looks like it's in very bad shape.
Might be a good one to tie in with the other signs you're looking into making, Tony.
Yeah.
To have a similar look, aesthetic.
Yeah, because like the police station has a really nice sign, and when you drive into Nahant, obviously there's a really nice sign, so it just looks a little inconsistent when you go by Spindrift.
Both the Nahant Town Hall and the Nahant Library green signs need repainting too, and I have had a hard time finding someone that could refurbish those, so that's on my list as well. If I thought, hopefully if I can find someone for those, I can, include the Spindrift sign on it too.
I bet you Lynn Spencer could maybe recommend somebody, since she deals with, preservation and painters and things like that. So maybe shoot Lynn an email.
Yeah. It's a good idea.
Great.
Thank you, Deb.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Comments? Okay, seeing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Move that the Board of Selectmen meeting be adjourned.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing, hearing none, all in favor?
Josh Antrim, aye.
Gene Canty, aye.
Mark Cullen, aye.
Good night, gentlemen.
Good night,
Thank
everybody.
you. Pretty quick meeting with the new chairman there. Gee.
Flying along.
I'll see you.